0.1 Kumase, Sompa Sunyana na Fenkranza, one so Abafabi, and then some motor de Bania de Makotino be any. I cannot swap for ya no show my gun is sick as some sort ya two jar at your set to our drawbacks to Numbi, Egua my gun and your so ya one more animal said never jetino, you're a kind of frata and Fabin coming.
Oh, my Benina do that quite kufuado ya two jar, sir, a bibem hano, sir, we shan't quasuma, a be mine equoya, and fasodiana de ebeba, and I said, dear Econo, you better than the Ewo Casimu ediachero.
And Chakra, you're a kind of frata, Comra, Sebagafie. Oma Ghana kwa mabosika edibede juma fempimi no ani aduonu na 2024 budget no obaken kan amayehubi
Pani kwancherefo a wono neda Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research ano wodi ababa betudwa se aban no amfa nani ankonwoma ye totototo ho na se woduru ba bi no nani kototo nwoma bi so a anhwe ya oman no eka ene yebebo
ani ayatete a kire se ye nuanom mo a seven produce so mo nam de na kwa na ba bi edem na no mo ye adwuma wo tobuta hoto na busua wo mo do mo kata won mo sumye won mo ntoma ehe no mo kwa asoyi a ehwo man Ghana yakwantempo won sam so na nsam bai ana apiafi mo ba
la General Hospital eno mu na pani kwankyerefo wo no ena eda pomden aso ya no kwakwa agima manu dia tudwa se la General Hospital no wo hwe na wababa besi dankura na aboa
ashankafo ya wo mo de dwuma frekunsu kwatapa kwantempo so ade to Ghana benum se wom so ka Ghana fo hu enti mo kwan no ohwe no wanyei
wei ene afoforo bi ka ho ye dano kase na ye dia besoma wia prem tubrei mu kase obeti yanka e wo Sompa sunwane Sompa kranza sompaonline.com eso obeti kase bi e wo so Facebook and social media handles ahodo nyina na Sompa ebedi atwaguo e wo ho akenkanfo ene awia yi ose ya aboaji ofosu ena
Akosia ejewa kwade boaten ye fa Sedama 21st clinic the sciatica expert and one momra na mizo and 5G so atayechi afa 3 herbal center with 3 core capsules kokoma sete drono aka ho bi tabeta se yankan show se wo sofula alignment ono mo a kwana wo yade won hwem fama wo Sompa chade enso nie yeguso da ya gio Dr. Abe e wotana so apatapa new site honom wo se yade ba na ha wo Fabadan we no won hwem fama wo I care herbal clinic say wo ya yaresa fie pa ya anyan chen and watching a cloud internet the fastest internet in the world no express group ya do to fa wo kwakwase broni krom no kwadwojo ho afai so west herbal clinic wo mo so atayachi bi na eso afai anya brona sam no akasa ye nchirchi mu emfa emawo another day na yehwe ni mo sa o ma Ghana photo sam for you rakeno frata ya obobo ma Ghana ye sika samwa no wabakwa amra shebodwafie na 2024 budget no wade akwakoto dwa na ansa na opanyipa beka sakrampo no na ne papi no na hyase a wo mususu bribi adema no se wanhwe no ntumi nye titiro ni akatua mu nsam se won betumi apajamuo na afeso krampo no nyama bo atumi aba foma ma Ghana fo ye ho atumi anha yen eno nam so ama wosofo a enkane no hwe ma Ghana ye sika sam so won monyafo se takwade ato dwa ya wo kire se nyame no kwasem ni saka na to pa dia sa nei yera kind of rata sa de to biem abasa abade ne no man no Ghana no ankasa no nyame anim no kwasem ni ye ne be hen pa esan sa ye ka ato babro be se dunum ne akirei ana o man no ankasa gu ye nso aye ntimi ntwia enje se kwa ba so mo sa de foforo biem ba ebe ha adwene pa ye ono de e ho so pa no tumika.
We have over 15 or so levies. About 11 of them, came in the last, the last 7 years. What more tax increases? And when we hear things like, oh, we're going to be removing taxes on inputs, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. Remember when the street levies were created at the National Health Insurance, levy and the VAT and the GET fund, these were being collected as though they were taxes. The state levies blocked the ability of businesses to claim input tax credit. So we are only making a correction. It is no innovation at all. It's no new innovation in taxation. The principle of VAT is that it is a consumption tax. It's a tax on consumers. And therefore, if registered businesses, pay taxes on their inputs, it should be elevated through the input tax credit or the refund mechanism. This has been blocked, since 2018 or 2019. So we're only doing a correction. serious correction. We must look to the medium term, and the government has published a medium term revenue strategy yeah. which is the template from the IMF on expenditures. I think that we all know that expenditures are ballooned. This is the only fund program which we have gone into without substantive, and I mentioned substantive, cut in expenditures, right? Now, therefore, if this year we are being told that the government is going to look critically, at expenditures and trim them, it is belated. Remember, we had $6 billion pumped into the economy for COVID, and there should have been no reason whatsoever not to be able to use them to meet some expenditure needs, social intervention as well as others. But we ended up, with the situation in which we are now. Now, these two take us to the deficit, and it's projected that the reduction in deficit is going to be slow. It's not going to be something going into a wrap, right? And therefore, the accumulation of debt, our debt is over 100%.
Yes, Mr.
Abusane atene kai aye kane soafo na ohwema Ghana yesika samso on monya for setakwe
kiane ke ayede ya budget no ena wiei fotosamfo ebekọ akokankai e wo mbrahye bedwafie na mbrahye bedwafie ene budget statement no abobodie ekoso no enemu ena pani kwankyerefo a wono ena hwe Institute of Statistical and Social Economic and Research ano University of Ghana Professor Peter Kwati wodi abatu dwa se Ghana e wo se eduru ba bia audit service no omuyo mudwumadie ni ye na dwumadi a wo ye so obehwe nkrata so se wo manfo edi aban sika no eno ordinary ekohwe ho pi se wo koye sika sem anhwemu a emwa no na mom procurement process no ye yi sika ade akoto ade no ye nhwe se ye ni bedi akire pa se ya me ni anyi procurement process no achi ne ye ya adwene se sika sem ene ye bekọ akodi akire dia wo man ye sika sem da bia bekoso ato ape Professor Kwatanu disem eni
same owner bringing 3 invoice. You may even find that the company belongs to maybe the CEO's wife. You may find so many things, procurement infractions. We are not, it surprises me that we don't do this expenditure tracking, we don't do forensic or procurement audit, and we are always doing financial audit. And that is, even with that, the Auditor General's report is awash with that of evidence already. But it ends up in Parliament. Hardly do we see, how far it's gone, people being punished. Well, maybe it's done, but to the best of my knowledge, it's not very public for us to know, to put fear or signal through this. You see, we are interrogating the budget. We are thinking about how we can offer solutions to ensure that next year's 2024 budget will be a better budget. But we don't have real-time data. We are in November. By now, we should see fiscal data, third quarter fiscal data. This has become like gold.
Pani kwankyerefo a wono enada Institute of Statistical and Social Economic Research ano University of Ghana Professor Peter Kwatene ena yekutie ye no.
Awusia ya kwa umano so na ya na amane boni ya wato ya nkra free mrahye bedwafie. Nana ya twitwi akodi nkomo. Nana ma hen.
Meju so mini aba.
Mrahye bedwafie te sei.
Oba de adum ye ho ye na wo so.
Erade adum ye so ekukrum. Ara keno frata obedro na.
Se ya me no kasai de eyade a waba bepie mo mrahye bedwam nanso budget ne de ye nsha ase ye. Na mini abra ne Speaker of Parliament Albans Mana Kingsford Bagbin otena se na wo hwe ye nsiesie wo eno adwumade a omudi ye ho ana wo che ye se statement kesie bi wo ho pan se so mo ye ansa na budget no won ba kinkan ya wo ma kinkan na ene mrahye bedwani dima atuma nwa benya south eye Emmanuel Anhre onu no dina timpie na paso no ye statement efa amia me maami taiza kufuo ye awanya ne ba bi ko na wo kire ni dwumadi a wo bedi bo oman Ghana ebra no ye first lady na ni kunu je kufuo ye omampani na wodi na nu onyam tai ni kunu achi ebuaye enkanka ema ne nkola se ye kasetari maami taiza wo yoba oyoba tampa yi ana wodi nkola ne ma hye ne yam yobuaye ma nempo se na wo akwada kindergarten otimi ko school free na me yakra na me na mo hanse me fa yafunu na me wo a me kom maternity a me timi wo me ho na me ba me ntia sika bie enu nti se ya wo bepiem na hye bedwafie no ni statement kese a wo aye no wo ho anche omo bewie omo wie pa na oman fotosanfo kinoforiata wo de ne budget no ato
ayo ane na de kire ma ye wai na de be pia fi ba bia no wa me yaso ansi ho abosua de woto yan kra fi ma hye bedwafie na ma ya twetwe ane etinkin
sustainability development goals no ebi ekasa efa pomden aso ye ho na ubo man Ghana mu a ababi abotaye ene se wobehwe na ne manfo ebedi ye ni nyina se wobehwe pomden kama na wode ama wo mo na wode wani ekire pumpuni mantam kropom enkran soafo a wono ene hwe pomden aso ye ano kwaku agima manu e dia betu dwa se la General Hospital no panifo so agene fa so se de be ya wo besi na aboa ma desia okwaje ayaresa wo ho no obenya baabi ada kama wa bra wo gina sumpie so e de nsem wo atu dwa no yentie kwaku agima manu.
Mr. Speaker, the ministry in our searching for funding to do the work got some proposal from a company, Polychanga overseas from China, to redevelop the General Hospital and seeks the statutory approvals to commence work. That was as early as March 2019. Mr. Speaker, we got a cabinet approval in March that same year. Parliament generously approved on 31st March 2020 to do the work. We went through Public Procurement Authority approvals, submission proposal for value for money was done, and we accepted structural integrity tests and commissioned stakeholder engagements to sensitize even the lab community on the need to demolish the building and rebuild. Mr. Speaker, thereafter, we signed the final contract after fulfilling all conditions precedent, and that was in July 2020. Let me, as a matter of interest, announce to my colleagues that the contractor who was supposed to do the project is the person who actually pulled down the facility. We had handed over site. He needed to clear the place to start new work, and there was no way that we can do that hospital on that same land without pulling down the facility. And that is how come the project was pulled down. Commencement of preliminary works, including geotechnical studies, soil tests, and site setup for offices, started on the 1st of September 2020. Mr. Speaker, the project, however, was suspended due to issues with the insurance cover from Sandoshaw. We faced challenges with relations with Sandoshaw, and Sandoshaw suspended their efforts to issue insurance for the cover of the facility that we were taking in completion. We completed value for money audit following the issuance of the insurance cover by Sandoshaw, and that was done as late as 2022. Submission of advance payment requests with accompanying bonds was done late April 2022 for work to actually commence. The contractors
Swafu a ono ena hwe apomden aso ya no oman Ghana mu kwakwa adwuma manu anu si yepe ena mrahye bedwani ema dade kotopon reta na odole sowa ede etu dwa se wadi aba no ho ya se adwumadie se de atwetwen ne na ase no emmoa eno ti se waye wadwene se wo baba babisia wonhwe ne wonye ne tentem se de be ya ebeboa adesia wo mpesua so
and informed us of the need to pull down the old General Hospital and assured us that in 2 years the hospital will be rebuilt. Mr. Speaker, the hospital was pulled down in March 2020 and sod was cut in August 2020 to make way for the new hospital they promised us. The sod was cut amidst pomp and pageantry, and we were so sure that the hospital will be reconstructed for the good people of Dadekotopon. I came to Parliament in January 2021. On the 1st of June 2021, I brought a question to the floor of Parliament, and the Honourable Minister answered and said the insurance cover was not ready, so the contractor couldn't move to site, and that they were making plans for the contractor to move to site. And as we speak now, in June 2022, he also came back to the floor of Parliament seeking for tax exemption for equipment to be procured for the project. Right, Honourable Speaker, as we speak now, the good people of Dadekotopon, we have written to the ministry, we have had demonstrations, we've had press conferences, all to no avail. And right, Honourable Speaker, it's too late in the day for us, the good people of Dadekotopon, for the minister to come and show us a video in Parliament, something that we were aware of, something that they told us of, and promised us that because of the dilapidated nature of the project, we are pulling it down to make way for a new project. But as we speak, from 2020 August, that sword was cut. We are in November 2023, and nothing has been done to the project. The Minister for Trade had a press conference at which he said on Thursday last week, 8 p.m., there was a contractor on site. I visit the site every day, and there has not been any contractor there. As at yesterday, 5:25 p.m., I was at the site, and there is no contractor there. And so now that the minister is assuring us that the project is going to take off, and Mr. Speaker, the initial contract sum for the project was 68 million.
Sustainability development goal for no and now goals no bako ekasafa apomde ho enu mu ena mbrahye bedwani e ma dade kotopon reta na odole sowa echrem se da no de omayo so mbesi na etwentwen ne na sedodo enu nti aban enye na basa hare so se de be ya adehye wo mpasua ne so no ebenya apomden akọ.
I was here to answer the so na ba semfisham yenu nie ana to levy won sansam so ye show my Ghana ye kwantempon won sam so de ba se won maguno akoba na sa no na ye duano ma sabi pedia se won magidem awo won mo nam duana kwa na babi na won so ka ho nti babi ya won mo bada ana se mpo won mo de diemu na akwakoye bibi ho de ma wonom eno na ye tete se anu ada wo mo nyina de wo mo kata wo mo ntoma sumie ne ade nyina da wano ne aso ye show my Ghana ye kwantempon won sam so won mo koye a wo mo se finhia mienu nie edidi sika kura no ehun ya akwakoya den edisasue na guwon madwuma de a enu mu mpa bi mfansia na mu na ya ne ade hye bi om kwada ho bi di nkomo ensem sei no mokan.
Mr. Emmanuel amegbeji onu su ye toll collector no bi ye na ye beda ha na we minister sisi anopa ye memu minister no. Yes, minister no oko parliament by yes ye nyam free aye say aketwa na so muntu no man twa ide ye ntumi free anko ye beda ha ye wo rules and highway ministry nda mo nyina ase Mr. Emmanuel amegbeji onu su ye toll collector no bi ye na ye beda ha awon chirinti na ya ba ha no e na we fi takrade Timothy ahinsan onu so wa ha no mu si onu su beda ha ye tumi kofi awon chirinti
awusia na chese anu no ye nuanu mo asabie won mo didam awo won mo honam diana kwa na baabi ne ya chese won mo kasa chese won beda ho sansane mo mo kwa koya de ama won ma so na hye won mo bo eje se won mo antimi ani bo hye no so de a won ba boa ama bo hye no o matimi adi so na nka ya bo modin asa ya na titira ni de ma ye nuan ma won mo de dem awo mo honam diana kwa no a na to levi won mo gigibie no na ya na di nkomo owura Mohammed Rahman na so ya pusu ahoma no a enya de enya no nyame ya dom na kase boy mu ye nya no a yene no ebedi asemi nkomo ye nto aso
Ghana fo nyina anim sam se enkane no Ghana ha no na ye konkwasum na kire se emrofo ebefa Ghanafo edomo ekọ abrochimam na ne okoye adwuma edema wo mo eno na nando tankwa ekufo ado Ghana mampani ede atudwa ewo Kimpiski Hotel wabra omo ekohye no osuesu adwene kwan a yebefa so na bibimam ebetumi adiye wo kirem ekire se abibimam ha yeba betua sika ede ama bibimam ha wọ́n ebe fa wọ́n ekosua ekọ asomu de eno de no akọ ya asem foforo emom ohia prada na ato bibiman de nanso sai ye wọ́n ebetua sika ede aman de ekwa bi so no na akoye bibi e wo ho wa bra nhyiamudie no ekoso no sei ena na ando dankwa kufuado edanadi.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that the call for reparations is not a plea for arms, but a valid demand for justice. If reparations can rightfully be paid to victims and descendants of the victims of the Holocaust, so can reparations also be paid to the descendants of the victims of the slave trade. It has been 400 years. It has been 400 years, and we want to bring closure to this tragedy. Whilst at it, let me point out that the subject of reparations must go along with the matter of restitution, especially that of Europe, which was principally responsible for the original theft of the cultural properties. Most of these cultural properties, when returned, will also offer Africans the opportunity to develop local knowledge of the technological, cultural, social, and aesthetic value of the objects. I'm aware that countries such as Senegal, Nigeria, and Benin have managed successfully to regain possession of some of their cultural properties that were illegally moved out of their territories. Ghana has also successfully recovered some of its stolen cultural properties and relics. For example, in 2008, the government of Ghana collaborated with the elders of Ahanta to
Ani awuti ye eye omampani na adodankwa ekufu ado.
Ade shebi ya wo de shende djuma awokunsu de ba tepa kwantempo no so ewa hafo no south west ne hafo no north kopon no mu bofu pa. Wono mo chairman panyi na adrese nyamiem no kwasem ni Ghana no nya no an nkran yo se ebesiesie nkran ama ho no maye fene mum go so ne mpotamo enso eka ho bi pa. Enam so nti wono mo sra ban no se wo cheche o ma Ghana yen hira nsuo no a wọ́n sẹ́ wọ́n so bá so wọ́n so na wọ́n makwan no atete apro no wọ́tumi ayode ama wọ́n sane ya bayi a akwantufoɔ so wobɛtumi ayeha wọ́n kakra wɔ abra ɔmanfoɔ no ane ya boni Ebenezer ɔwo so ansa twetwe nkomo no sei ɛno mo kan
akwese ka papa bia pa abi o ha se ka papa na so na pa ya bra ha etia omoka so na ekwa ko ti o na ba kwa ni ta no amafo bebe adwuma kwa bo ha no bona ko ti na mo pa no ebi so ba kwa ni amafo bebe adwuma ko ti na na ama ekwa no so ehu papa bi e ko ti e ti asira mo sa kwa de mo mo ni ra ho ma na ba ne ya ire ho na ti o ti ti ya ti ya ne are na e ba mo na ko de bi amo pa ekwa nya pa ke so aba ka sa fe na ko mu wa o ti ka mu awu konfo bebe fa kwa ra kwa yo so
Pan here, yeah, by the in fact, in two program now, we know the program now only for the accident to get everything ever had to get by itself. Abana media and the emoji that's why I'm a band says and
Ano chi no assembly members me no ye wo konsu I want to for Sule Mohammed Anafe Yerwa James appear. One so Kasai Esra Bansi.
2020. Nah, yes, we had facts from paper suit to Pamaye. Mine was why I got this. So far, I bear 40%. The one pie, send me a more, buying an empire, buying a paper suit. Because I have quite an idea. Me and Ukraine, the Abana Kumasudi. Yes, Abana say, oh, may because Oba Fanaha, I am MPP stronghold. MPP, I am MPP stronghold. Yes, Abana is a binding rather than a family. Said a bear, Jamia Duma 2024. No, you understand who said so break it. It's a parry and Mania Pina, making the 8, you know, and you're possible, my Mr. Abino, another dunker for what? Nay, penny for, say, who may say, Baumiania, you know, Baumiania, I go with him, or buy a credit for any. And me, I do more. I said, to bear my idea, you're sure, said 2024.
My contract. I'm a contract and I'm a friend for you. Obey my gattis in area. Natuza and Kibia over Philippine and our team Gugu Taramay. But every piece I'm ready, 3 pints on my idea, a high you that's what you said. Mother can say, pharmacy. I buy the better.
Penny, I want no and a chron, Edema Parent Teacher Association Council, Mr. Raphael Gamson, Eja Homanso, I don't know, Equatorial and Como, Penny Power to make up memoir.
Pacho Majimoso Mamo Atifo Muteo Sompa FM Kumase Pacho Mitimo Panam Majimoso.
Penny Pa, every idea about Punumua, Prospectors no and can never ho, Yadeto Tonyoma. Na dia modia ba mo se national prospectors yi ene en Canadian no so ya ba na demu
ebi ka meda wase na metesa o kasa no ka se National Council of Parents Association NGS and other stakeholders such as Yakoshia na streamline prospectus fa yan kwada mo wie GHS o mo secondary schools before be mo school placement no akadia ene normal awofo eso mo boabo ma no na omon kojan kura no mathematics school at Masuande. We dika ya Sompa prospectus every time be about national no GS no no in charge of education at the pre-tertiary level or more any TVET need those groups no own prospectus at the schools no but they don't know who say the background na school no so the be there e ka ho the man there how kaka aba ye awofo no so ni hu de enfa aban say anyway be school no so almost so dey na kwa woman say stakeholders aban engage your more perspectives no you know na say be how kese na so ya no omo involve no a happy but the consensus I can the last time can some of friends as in yaso the treat mu ka say ya ade no nyina ya nka etiambom ankotena table ho and dey we say maybe you say for primary number school na nkwala nyina de tire kra ba tire do say na be here wo school e betimi atra afini nyina bebe no e ka e na say fontin say it stream line no e na time no mo de processes ne ba na so any admission e placement ne crash pe na wo school na time obebo an wan so prospectus no e be hard ni dilemma admission time no kwatwam no bi nyan ko but me kan ye no aban ade say one this time the prospectus number abonten say yam from boy because this time do na pie into oba no be ko school oni say dey obe ko school on kwa obehu enti o sha say boy ho a ebeboa ene dey aban ade o but the bi hu ya kakra no say aban ko share stakeholders no say the National Council of PT they have continue mo bi but about aban yes oni nyina di nkomo but okay na ibi no church here no but they can but hard we be a buyer no say journey of 1,000 miles for the use of steps they are about to announce this our streamline here on say and some our can yes no mo ko share no mo cut na ho mo jitu mu mo bia emfa chire nkoya de fofo they are wo for no ko do school na e pere say how do school no na e de betu an so say e be ya eno no ye APT ni a take decision no say the board man say the economy to me and one how mono but the money chance TVET all those groups now one listing or mono matna session or mubia will be fair to require the for sabe any angel nti ano de ye ba aban abaso but the best aban say next time we be saying o mo yesu ehu movie ye nyina ti movie ye so no no obi kobu mra no so ana okoya de fofo na wonom ye hu say said efiri ha ana say efiri ha nti aban de abantem da uta gina wa ya de e ja ofo bia akosha obo say o mehia we maybe can no ye the way anyway can ho by this ye efiri mu nti ni bi kwa menye we and anya nhye se no mani nyina na esa awofo nya ansa na akwa na ko school eno so aban de ba ya no eboa obedu bedu no unya kakra kwa na ode kwa obedu school na obi gina gate wo se wan fo we ambaye ma wo school mama ye ma wo tra dan no ho anaye ma wo tra do metro nti eno de ye be ba aban pass but best aban se next time we invite stakeholders almost say we are the biggest stakeholder because education is patronizing the educational product and I'm a masa
I no question
educational product yeah am patronize school na be koso sebe nye ya tekuni esempo ya na di boabo ano a ye de ma ban say tax na na for all the ebi ebo educational development nti mesre say we are the that gina wa ya de but nobody on ma yes we will move here we are the best people to give them feedback of policy implementation and the challenges of its implementation nti kakra no ka afa hono
panipa na BC resource na ba ye no say na ka afa ho
BC resource na de me de dia me ka asem ba ko mirror ya friend say mirror cry friend say ahwehwe ana meboa
ahwehwe
ahwehwe it reflects exactly who you are into BC resource no why for amaya hu say ebinum no sabe examination malpractice course so ama ebi omo ye investigation ananya sa ena ebi mu so on mama cancel results no ananya sa
sir
ena ebi mu so on mama pass so de aba betuga the mestre na say examination malpractice aka ho asema bre but ejina no ma bi su na ma sa na o ma no koso oh new curriculum ya roll out ya hu adwuma akade ebe hiama new curriculum no enya na ntuma pa fra no okoford ho a we don't uniform teacher for no class say the new curriculum na bro no the no are so find it difficult to understand the concept very well let alone to teach inti edu baby a na school bi won say yes school bi fa kotu pan bi so na pass na ono de waya no so obeye de esefata oya sefata so na results na ba ono sa school no sabe o man say dan pass ya na community no and other stakeholders aba gu teacher for no ne heads no na ebu say mo da mo tia na mo nchira de mo da mo tia mo hwe school ha ni wa de ekoso no enyina yehu examination malpractice nya de pa because we are breeding the future corrupt generation of students. They must have no course one. In TSA, a teacher for Opia said the school some a year no. Yen two and banner for. Say Omoy or Moon Suadi. Now, seven. From Toda Emuye Yanchomo, Emuye and Achibin, that could cancel on my exam results. I must say the exams now, Yankora and Troyan. Just because of that black sports network system no obi ti be a oni gidie e wo BC performance no in terms of experience no the best for so as national council and your PTA executives no more various schools na awo for no a me fa sa akwan su 2 for say the best say asedi bi a say ye e de bo aban man kwara be sua ade say extra support class kwan e be EDPTs ka be support na kwara be an so mako control o mako control metima pass no metima defend o results tell be o mo da ti be ka be hwe no en na me sa wo for say ye ma yin ko na yen sra aban so say ye na say dey so ye e build teachers no capacity more refresher training programs. Now, yampe or more resource person or more experts in various fields. No, or want to invite the ICT teachers and now your resource people go with my chum. Now, for corner English, math, science, and then social studies. No, you bet my modern say at West grade should be between 1 to 3 in most schools. No, now 2 other electives. No, RME, your friend is saying ICT, BDT, and you know, you better say this many at least good grades with the account. Now, Corano, or more cultural, she be any. Obikwa will be say Apo baby or more formal than coho.
Okay.
Because would say they are teacher for natural one. And the emotion of fear. Yame Aton Super Gusa was Raswa, a best abatamo.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know if I'm a practice with the performer. They are sure say the quality of education, the certificates now require. I'm going to be making.
Okay, Mr. Gamson, you better say.
Yes, Madam Asapa.
Penia ya no ekasa ye on a chro Emma Parent Teacher Association Council Mr. Raphael Gamson ne na ikotie ye no.
Abusuane paduana pa no nko a kyese ade bi ba bebom na wa mpechira kwan ya. Ado beti na nanom wonse do eno saa nti ne ye kan for 21st clinic dia ma se wo de kwana won mo hwe onya siateka nko yade nkaye wo mo di hu dwuma na mom no siateka yade no ana won ma bene mu pa wo to asentini no atwewa de aba na amro mu no ena brofaka samu ye kana siateka ya branches ne doso makoma kudunom ne yekire wo ma Ghana fa na ba bia de abusua won sabeka ye wo ba kuma se anom se ya overseas junction ye ben Alpha Radio and Cran so do market ye ho bo ase council quarters ne nyina ya je adwasunwa ne nkranza takwa de 0540 311 0540 311 311 Ayamizu and a 5G. Drink papa wo nom na wo minimum no aye say chese bibia be kama at yamaw ebe na wo minimum so say yo wa brate macho bia ma ho we na wom grapes wom ginseng green tea and afi grapes tea fruit na nyina hye wo ma say twom enti boa pa pandodo mo na 0246 270221 0246 270221 aya 3 herbal center ya dupa ya ba dwama so 3 core capsules no ya kan for dia madasa so bia kopa bi ntowate sanso we na hoden wom betu kokko no ase asanso ya osisi ni mu atwuma ayam tem ne baba kwa ma ho ato kokko we ya kokko ba so abusua ho na hu say yes ewiase na emienu ani tintina ho ama kokko maje wo so mayade no madiwani a ansa no apa no aduro we have 3 core capsules kokko masete aduro ne bon so da form o call pharmaceutical shops mo on sabaka bi 0546 107 107 0546 107 107 aya tabita say yan kan chiro say nkran wo Medina Firestone Ford Bridge and afi kuma senso so for alignment on mo a oya de ne de hi prostate na ana diabetes na hawo fakoda no no won hwem fa ma 0202 347 0202 347 Sompa chade ya kwaso abomon kaye ebra no kwa na kwa nchane yesi December mu bronya bosomene yenye sempe na so obi ya hyase bronya ntade ye tobi bronya mpaboa regi ahodo obi ya sesane diem ya kai kunafo enti sika no fa wo de si ahoma so fa ma na mom wo mo anwa me location ne ade a wo betumi de aba ya homa ne 0598 meche mobile money number no 0598 559 802 0598 559 802 Edina bebani yetra one media anasa blessed foster yejina resu yaton kratel ebesaba
Introducing Mixer 5G Sparkling Drink, a whole new refreshment in a can. Mixer 5G is a tasty non-alcoholic drink. It is a perfect companion for all your events, including parties, weddings, and funerals. It is made with green tea, ginseng, guarana, grapes, and grapefruit. Get refreshed with Mixer 5G Sparkling Drink. For bulk purchases, contact 0246 270 221. This advert is FDA approved.
21st clinic a sciatica expert sciatica no wo nerves na wo to ase na fa wo siremu na fa wo nansia besi ase ho no se ho techema eno ene efa ne sciatica na etimi bubu wo to ase ka wo se dwe wo sirem wo je ho ba bia enye na no na 21st clinic ba ye adwuma pa wo mu ye ntia baso bo magine wo Ghana ha ene amono ne enyasem ketewa wo mu ji international awards ahodo mu ji local awards ahodo na anu nso na wo mu be the only sciatica research and treatment center in Africa bibrim ha no ebi ni ba bia ji 21st clinic nkoa wo mu de bibiduro ene besa o yare no masa de machine aka ho eya yare sabia yare bia wutimi de ko ne mama de pa ko a wo magidi wo mu pa no eye sciatica ena stroke nso de kwa diabetes ne hypertension ne ade Ghana ha ba bia wo mu ho 0540 311 311 0540 311 311 na 21st clinic wo mu ye sciatica expert
Sompa achedie yaba Sompa achedie 2023 Bible say nyame Sompa pani say obi ko wunyanka ene erusia mobo enuti na Sompa 93.1 Kumase Sompa 90.7 Enkransa Sompa 98.9 Sunyane yakabom se bronyen yebema enisia ene ekrafo edidi na yenko ayetini agese wo beboa yen enti se yesika fatu ahomatrofo iso 0598559802 meeting biem 0598559802 ediye woso yeta 1 media bronya bosome ni le to so aduonu ba ko me beboja trada na de amode dum yen no ye de ama ekrafo na me ba na me say akere ku na me say Sompa fabi amuye onye ko fisu mu swap efi se je muye ye je se bi sija se de fa se bi flatfo enyanka emibo omo mu ni bie so ne kura se omo mu ni bie yo ni bie mi fe ko ya fa and so mo de afema mana so everybody won shira mo Bible si bi ohu platform everybody go be shira se mo ku platform everybody shira mo anu mo kese apapam so be mo kese pa amen na yesika na yentuma so a wobetimi de aba afenso se niema bi ense ye ti se mo ene yanwa so a yebeje mo amu ye bi afi etwa mu no emu adanse de mo amu nim Sompa achede 2023 abusuafo yamfa ye ho hyem na propose prepa obodu ponko mu ye nyankopon obeyiye wiye Sompa achede 2023 ekunafo ene enyanka ne so wo mu bedidi.
Introducing Mixer 5G Sparkling Drink, a whole new refreshment in a can. Mixer 5G is a tasty non-alcoholic drink. It is a perfect companion for all your events, including parties, weddings, and funerals. TV Emma Aketiapa.
Was your father was so much about ye to answer so I have for Southwest my Johnny. One man for Johnson could do why you do being a bit down make a saying in person so and a face who quite draw your quiet and our bombarding at the laptops are what draw street lights near dear quacha one no more. Just say a so any pa now one and a boy for son coso or man for Charles Nicholas Ekasai.
I would say, I don't member of parliament, you know. I had the idea what I and woman soon had an Akomaswa since obey DMP in few me no work with the school down what Piamba, one of us were both schools and no any agro. We see a desktop or they bought Amamata senior SHS. I also say almost on ye be a computer lab or they support this one more Jumedi day. Nkoyi nyade foforo ya de BMP kwataya ode boa amangumasuya atumpon o afana na performance efa ngumasuya de onso o hise pi adan a wapre aba mansiri mu nyagoro owie ye enkunya wode aba na anu wani mu ha ye cha hansia aduonum owie ye mathematical set books ahodo a wode support wo ene computers wode support wo papa from ye wie no so no university for so school fees a wo tua teacher training school fees a wo tua nyagoro te fa ngoma sua de kesa kan de ma ngoma sua kosoro de edra koma so pa on fa nyagoro wode hyehyɛ sene be ya ngoma sua de betima gina awo ye mentem ha na aboa oba ye senior high ba ko wa ha ye mansek so a eno so ohe projects wo pian ba ho dining hall dormitory ne nyoma wode boa bebrebe school no friends wo nyina nti ngoma sua de ye wura koma so ade
I know Chino or Dennis Akumia who drew on a sukasebi.
Yes, my computer is here, and I'm ever down now. What Johnson could do as and never be a much education and more. Look at telling on my yacht, yes, a boy, my asset here, computer lab. Nane or the Ossie Ayo, the Casunia coupon in Shram. Now, Oliver Switch will always continue to ask for more. The Akana of the Beckham Lina, so the brain celebrating or Lina Beba. Now, I have 5 minutes to a school for say, Omoma, a computer this year, and whom here because already were honorable upon home modern at the swim, a fat computer, Yaka, and Quatemua. Nay, best say, almost so Fano, a very serious, not only to me, then to share honorable and that's it.
Ora Dennis Akumia Odru and Kasai.
Yantua Kasie so ewo Ghana hinkro enkran. Na eho ena wasurukokroko amanyoko no ene veti checherecha wode ahihye so na nyasam ketwa wo so ne so na wona obenya akwan na wakohwe na wakopre yedie ene puntu wo mrahye bedwafie ede abre wadehye no eho ena wo so ne so na 17 orphan constituencies 70 orphan constituencies na ne constituencies a wasurukokroko amanyoko no ontumi eni MP ohoda ena wo hwe se de be ya obetumi age afiri won samu na enomu enubi ene ayawaso east and north adenta madina nigo pram sege obodum domiabra ashama ene pon katamanso eho ena sabri vetin ekoso ene ne da etoso emienu na no mu ena alhaji ibrahim sani ayawaso north constituency wodi atudwa se efie aduenu enwatwi ni ena ayawaso north constituency wasukokroko amanyoko ontena so da ndc amanyoko no ono ena di ahim ewo ho eno ti wahye omanfo bo se omanfo epene na woto abai edema no dia obegya konwan ede afiri ndc amanyoko no ensem na ne mra ne adoto no ede frɛ no ene vambel abrasam twofo ne no kasa no sei no da ne nsemadi
bibia ko fine problem bia ni o but just that one or two but my own say there is no any problem okay my strategy no da hodada for me to annex the seat from the hands of NDC no eno amunjai mami party no jai sa project no mami minimnia metimi aye adi ama party no adi sa seat no adi ama MPP for the first time number miminya 1 meaning of the one a victory dada a victory one touch nyame aye awi
Abra Vambel anusi yepe na Papa Ali enkane wono no nana eye trofo abedi akirem ema adesia ewo ayawaso east ono so akirem akire se ebra so se omanfo ede dibre no manu a ono so ebetumi edinkunim
very very simple process because Makoye constituency officer for the past 3 terms and the committee besides me introducing me after the introduction there's no question for me because I've served the party for many years and I already know the workings of the party and one and a balloting ya picky number 2 even though numbers and shada and play any significant role but sometimes motivation for the team. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia picking number 2. So the view of the supporters will say yes yanya 2 but within myself meaning say number bia at me winning election. Yes. Since 1992 at me and constituency and here obia were dealing with the constituents for many years. Somebody who are establishing relationship with the constituents. Then with the non-performance of the incumbents, we can make an inroads and take the seat for the first time. I believe this is the time for the youth. I believe this is the time for the youth. When you have a youthful candidate who can appeal more to the youth of the constituency, we can.
Ankane Diana Watro Emma Yawasu East Baba Ali ono ene chirem se sabere wanya tu no de na chese nkunimdie wo tu nim enti ono de wo kora no emfi aduonu enwotwini na MPP amanyuko no ontumi eni nkunim ono so ahyebo so betua baba gia konwa no
na MPP amanyuko the treasurer ya won wo Doma Central abato mpeso so owura Samuel Boama ne bofu papa pam wo kire se nyame anim ni wo ma hyebadwani yera kwakwagyima manu wadiri mu hwamo pa se won ma kwan tete apro na so papai finhia nsunnie wanya hwe emfa ho enam so mapanyi pa kire mu se MPP amanyuko no won mo ntua na mo ahwese Doma so won ma kwan be yi a won wankasa won ne manfo ometu mufo
the penny tifin ni be hono so sane ma me ka kire nti se wo ye leader na ade bi ekoso na se wantimi ama abonte a makire mu ankire se problem na e wo hono kwan ya yemfa so ni aye de be solve a menua na eniema nkoyie asemu ya meka me gidi se party fo bi nim be benya problem wo me ho but wo sa meka because me trans ma aboabofo be demonstration edit ya se ye ma ho me ye campaign ye ko ya na ye bai aboabo ye MPP one of your stronghold nti ye trans na bere ne meso na aboabofo nto abanti ya ne be meka se bo ama pen so be ye treasure na aboabofo de to abati MPP never ye be pramu aka ya ye bi meka se ye nya bi dia ne ye trofo but some ya ye wumi that is ye big thing nti meso na Kwajuma say he should work about it. Unim say, oh papa, pana, oh wow baye, unini nyina kabum, adwuma bia oyo ne, bibi bia one. The moment o si ni fie wiye, onya na kase ba ni fie. Enya japade efiri wo no ye na adwen say, oba no wa to wede agyamu a. Say ya na enye, ebi ekoso ye do mama mu ha. Apanyimfo bi no ma, party na da Roma, party na boa ba mo badu ba bia e wo say, nka beboa party no, na to party na da agyamu a. Say yamfa ye na yansi form, amampanyimfo bi no ma, mam stakeholders bi no ma man solve ye problem na. Obedi ye beko hawo ene amane bi ma emwa ye party no ye way forward be sere do mafo ba be kan bi ye wo ni se it's about time e wo se beka no krekere ye party no ene mpanyimfo abedi animu e wo ye do mama mu ha se be boa party ni nkanko
I was your Samuel Boama no where treasure wa Doma Central peso so Dr. Bay and here comfort your mouth and so patra pa be hono yade bay fakwada no secretary yade hania and here try yade nyina wo di hu dwuma 0243 345392 I care herbal clinic ya resefi no mpemu yade wo ma be mu pa wo de paroni ba mo ba osisi waposo ti ene pa wo paroni ba mo hapati ano so boost immune system no 0530 721 165 cloud internet in your open internet papa e cloud internet your top high and love FM din hwe ni mu 0202 699110 afi express group ya do to fa Canada na ope US ana mama ya wodron kaye no ya do be kwa kama kumasi ya wasa flavor runabout and cry kaneshi first light 0249 000448 and so was her back clinic is in country send no pemo yade ne ade stroke wo ma bere mu papa wo de kwa wo mo ebehwe abuso ye gina we so ye nsem nyina esi gugu averonica janto akosua somo ya grace ne nkae no yeda mo nyina mo ase akosua ajewa kwade boaten enemy din mene
o say ya abuaje oforiso
o say ya so akona Kenya Citruba
okay
my boy friend ofake o yada opa enti me kacha ne se ne me no na bekenkan
enti o ma bibi bai
oh enchia
aju my genesis
edu ofake woni adom mo Kenya Citruba ya chia mo wie yenim se mabo ademu a motie nyame onhyira mo ye so Sompa nkomo bola etwaso
Sompa achedie yaba Sompa achedie 2023 Bible say nyame Sompa pani say obi ko wunyanka ene erusia mobo enuti na Sompa 93.1 Kumase Sompa 90.7 Enkransa Sompa 98.9 Sunyane yaka